So good evening, happy Friday. Welcome to this week's Friday Study Circle. Hi, Till. Thank you for joining. And so here we basically, reflect on the words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo and any other mistake if we would like to. So I'll request Sarda ji to start, with whatever she had today, so to share with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, actually, it's from Collected Works of the Mother. It starts with this: Sweet Mother, one day you said that if one makes mistakes, so it starts. So can you type?
Yes. No.
No. Yeah, this one. So if one makes mistakes, knowing that one is making a mistake, one pushes the divine grace away and builds a wall, a veritable wall between the divine and oneself. I don't remember exactly what I said, but there is one thing. If you make a mistake knowing that it is a mistake and committing it all the same, then you do that. If through ignorance you make a mistake because you don't know, that is a mistake. It is a mistake. You may have very unpleasant consequences, but you won't push away the divine because you have done the thing through ignorance. That's not to say that the fault is not a fault. It is a fault all the same, but as I said, you are not in the state in which you push away the divine grace. But if you know that it is a fault and commit it all the same, each time you do, you are pushing the divine grace and you push it away a little farther. It was very beautiful. I connected with this answer. How many times we are doing this in a day? Because we know that talking about others or thinking about others is not good. Okay, but still, we know it is a mistake. But we still do it. We know it's not necessary. But how many ever times in a day we are committing the same mistake? So, how the mother is putting it in a very, very nice way. In her own way, she says, you are pushing the divine's grace away. It was very, very beautiful. Today, it happened to me. I'll just share a small incident. Today, workers were working in the kitchen. Something was happening. It's a new house. So, some problem was there. So these people were there. My husband is traveling today. He is in Chennai. So he said, I will send some people. Then you take care. I took care. Everything was done. When the house became messy, I really got irritated like mad. I was getting angry. I was so frustrated. Oh, it is getting late for the class. I have to finish cleaning. I have to finish cooking. I have to go and sit in the class. What is this? Why he is there somewhere in Chennai and he's telling me to do everything. So I know that it is not right. It is a mistake because getting angry is not going to help me because nothing is happening purposefully. Wantingly, nobody is doing anything. But still, I know that I should not get angry. But still, I got angry. So in the afternoon only, I read this passage. After everything, then I was saying, no, it is not correct. What I did, no, I should not get angry. Then I sat in front of the mother for 5 minutes. Then I became all right. Then I came to the class. So I thought I should share this with you all. Yeah. Thank you. See, it's very silly thing, but still, we still do it again and again, you know. I was laughing at myself after reading this. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sardaji. You share such lovely real life experiences and then you call them silly. But, we are made of that same silliness. So it's really good to have that in the limelight. And it's just, you didn't come for this week's Harmony Circle, but we did touch upon this, this aspect of how we keep making the same mistakes again and again, right? Like I see myself getting angry at the same thing. And it can be frustrating, right? Like it can be, but we don't have, want to go there. So we had shared several examples and all about how it's so important that if we can see a pattern, or it's because the same trigger points mostly trigger us, how while even if I'm doing something that I know I shouldn't be doing, if we keep offering it while I'm doing it, mother, my patterns, my tendencies are making me do it, and I have no control and I don't know how to stop, but make me stop. I want to stop, but it's not up to me. Like I being me, I'm unable to stop, but I am, at your feet begging you to make me stop. So we had shared this, in the circle a bit. I'll be sharing the recording with you. I'm yet to upload it. It's really beautiful how first to even know that this is a mistake, that's I think the first thing, and then trying to not make it. But even if we fail, because again the tendencies are sometimes so strong. And I was listening to a talk from Tenzin Palmo, Jetsun Amala, and she was saying that how the neural pathways are created. Like say something happens and I react in a negative way or a specific way, so next time before make even next time, it's basically I don't even have a choice. Every time that thing happens, my body, my brain knows, okay, this is how we react, right? It's like into a mechanical thing. So to stop that mechanical thing, first of all, it's really good if we don't do it in the first place. But if we do it and we see we are doing it, we are doing it. If we forcibly do something else, like if we kind of have that restraint that no, this time let me try once, I will not say anything or I will not react. Or the house is full of mess. I remember once I was talking to a friend who had gone out and like for 3-4 days, and when she came back, she was like, I can't believe how messy the house is, with 2 kids and stuff. And he was like, I just don't know how to breathe. And then we reminded ourselves that, and it was like all muddy and dusty, and we reminded ourselves that I am made of mud, right? I am made of dust. And then it didn't bother anymore, right? Then she took her sweet time, 3, 4, 5 days to get that thing done, because it wasn't something she needed to hate or get repulsed by, right? So again, just, I think finding our way through our things with, because I don't know, left to myself, I'm not much good, just talking about myself, but it's just the grace that, and I feel one has to constantly ask for it, right? Like one has to constantly say, because one has to keep it in their attention that, yes, this is something, I have to now let go, or I don't want to do anymore. And I feel having that constant vigilance, it sounds easy, sounds like it's an easy thing, and it's not, and yet it is. So you mentioned gossip, right? So I remember the first time I wanted to say something about somebody when people were talking, and I stopped myself that not today. And after that, it had been easier and easier and easier and easier, because the joy that you get, that it's like it's such a small thing, right? Just saying one comment, yeah, I agree, she's like that. It sounds harmless, and it's not. So I think every time, even a small small win like this takes us a long way. And it's all right if we again do it, but as soon as I catch myself, I'll offer it. and resolve or pray that I don't do it again and again. And it's beautiful too. It's difficult, but it's joyful and beautiful too, that yes, I am better today than I was yesterday. And even if not, I'm with mother, and she'll take me where I need to be. There was a message. Can we read mother's answer to it? Yes, sorry for not stopping the screen. Even the next one would be nice. Sardaji, do you want to just go through it again, so that Jasmine wanted to? Yeah, you can read the full thing again.
Yeah, sweet. It's another thing, Tharu. See, when we get that impulse of getting angry or talking bad about others or telling something, but why, if we can catch it like this, then it would be fine. I used to feel like that. See, mother, this is what I want to offer it to you. But something is making me say. But after saying, there is no use of see, mother, I have done this mistake, I have done this blunder, but I want to to be there. I don't know, maybe by practice it will come. But definitely, as you said, yesterday I didn't even know that I'm getting angry. Today I'm able to see that I'm angry, and maybe the next step should be, tomorrow I should not utter a word in anger, not even in my heart. That's
Yeah, I
what.
think the second step is that you can see you're getting angry, and this will, that I don't want to get angry, has to simultaneously come. And then the offering or begging for help, right? That
Yeah.
I don't want to be here. So please, mother, right? Like, take me from here to something better. So I think these things, when they happen, they are almost simultaneous. So it has to be a process. And then we don't even know when we'll reach, right? It takes a long time of back and forth, because, again, the forces and the tendencies and stuff are there. It would take time, and that's okay. We have to be kind to ourselves. But knowing, how mother repeatedly says that we have to reach that side, right? So that's knowing that I will be on that side, knowing that right now I am not, but being frustrated or depressed about it will only pull me further back. So just observing, if possible, with some compassion and kindness to oneself and the other, but one thing that I feel, you had said it in the morning, that when will I do this to do this, right? Like, I feel that, and Acharya Prashant, used to say this very beautifully, that nothing should become a load on your head. Even on the path of spirituality, if something has become a burden, that this has to be like this, or this I have to do like this, there's no have to. Because in have to, there's no kindness, there's no compassion. Like, it's like any other stress, any other worry. I mean, we are walking on this path so that we can live light, right? Be light. But if for becoming a light, if I am taking 10 stones and putting it on my head, then that's not a beautiful journey. I mean, I'm not talking about sincerity, I'm not talking about will or effort, but I'm just talking about those small things that we make, that, okay, once this will happen, once the house is spick and span, only then I can sit. So he was, once I remember he had said that who can tolerate a dirty house? A person who doesn't have to do jhadu pocha, he's a sannyasi, because, he has won over himself this thing that there is, if I want to sit right now, I sit right now. There are no conditions for me to kind of. So I really liked it, and I keep repeating whenever I see myself, kind of getting angry about something because of something. I see that my ego is, saying it, at least this much you must do stuff. And the answer is, why? I don't even want to do this much. When I can do this much, I will. But it's a constant process that takes time and effort. And yeah, I don't know when I remove that again. Sorry, Jas. The screen.
Thank you, Taru. That was really beautiful. Yeah, nothing should become a burden. They have to just flow. Yeah, thank you. I'll read this. Sweet mother, one day you said that if one makes mistakes, knowing that one is making a mistake, one pushes the divine grace away and builds a wall, a veritable wall between the divine and oneself. I don't remember exactly what I said, but there is one thing. If you make a mistake knowing that it is a mistake and committing it all the same, then you do that. If through ignorance you make a mistake because you don't know that it is a mistake, you may have very unpleasant consequences, but you won't push away the divine because you have done the thing through ignorance. That's not to say that the fault is not a fault. It is a fault all the same, but as I said, you are not in the state in which you push away the divine grace. But if you know that it is a fault and commit it all the same, each time you do, so you are pushing away the divine grace and you push it away a little farther. Mother, there are mistakes. One knows, shall I read it?
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. One knows they are mistakes, but still it is as though one were pushed into making them. Then, pushed by what? This is exactly what happens. It is the lower nature, the instincts of the subconscious which govern you and make you do things you should not do. And so it is a choice between your will and accepting submission. There is always a moment when one can decide. It goes to the point where, as I said, there is even a moment when one can decide to be ill or not to be ill. It even goes so far that a moment comes when one can decide to die or not to die. But for that, one must have an extremely awakened consciousness because this speck is infinitesimal in time and like the 100th part of a second, and because before it one can do nothing and after it one can do nothing. But at that moment one can, and if one is absolutely awake, one can at the moment take the decisions. Beautiful. I think, Taru, what I was telling, expecting the answer has come. See in the second line.
Yeah.
And so it is a choice between your will and accepting submission. So if we are able to see the moment, and if we catch it, then we'll, if we surrender, I think definitely we'll, if we, maybe as mother says, if we step back, we may not utter so many unnecessary words. Beautiful. Yeah, the answer has come. Thank you. Thank you. You made me read the whole passage. Beautiful.
Yeah, sorry. Can you read the one below that too, but for ordinary things? Sorry,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. Yeah.
No. I'll read. I'll love to. Yeah. Shall I read or you want to read?
Oh no, my son is screaming around. I'll let you read. Just this paragraph. Yes. Thank you.
But for ordinary things, as for example, giving way before an impulse or refusing it, it is not a space, not even the space of a second. One has plenty of time before him. One certainly has several minutes, and it is a choice between weak submission and a controlling will. And if the will is clear, if it is based on truth, if truly it obeys the truth and is clear, it always has the power to refuse the wrong moment. It is an excuse you give yourself when you say, I could not. Beautiful. it is not true. It is that truly you have not wanted it in the right way. For there is always the choice between saying yes and saying no. But one chooses to be weak and later gives oneself this excuse, saying, it is not my fault. It was stronger than I. It is your fault if the thing was stronger than you, because you are not these impulses. You are a conscious soul and an intelligent will, and your duty is to see that this is what governs you and not the impulses from below. Beautiful. Thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you, beautiful. Yeah, this like completes it, seals it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
beautiful.
Yes, anybody, any reflections on others that we have shared today about mistakes?
Yeah, so I think there's one thing that I observe, like it just happens that when like sort of we let's say observe a trait of um, something, a mistake, for example, as mother says, that we're doing often. And at that moment, like you sort of forget what you're actually supposed to do. And like while we read this passage today, like tonight, I'll be very conscious about not wanting to repeat that. But tomorrow and the day after, and then maybe 2 3 days later, I'll know that this is coming. But at that moment, it just blanks out, like in the sense why I shouldn't do it. So I guess that is that is something that also stops.
I think, Meera, I would say it's a matter of how much you have been pained by it. If something happens and I'm pained by it, I react and then I forget. That means it hasn't yet, I haven't suffered enough, right? Like I haven't reached that peak in which I would say that this will not happen again, right? Like I have to keep a lookout on that. So I think it's everybody is on a journey and we are not perfect, and here we are working towards, moving towards, praying towards, going towards perfection. So with that in mind, it's all right? Even if we are making intermittent efforts, if we can see that, see how I'm not that sincere yet, right? It's not that important. But every time I'll be slapped, I'll be hit, I will again and again become more sincere, more sincere, more sincere. And I think repeatedly, that thing about how Sri Aurobindo has said that pain is the hammer of God, right? That is there to, break the dead resistance, because there's something in me which doesn't want to change, right? Which says, oh, I know better, right? So this thing where she says that, this is an excuse, and no, if you feel the situation is stronger than you, then also that's your weakness, right? Because it cannot be stronger than you. How, I don't know, what more can she say, right? What more can she say? So I think it's just that when we'll be slapped enough, we'll learn to remember it more and more and more, because that is where we have to reach. So it's all right? Yeah. But that is true that we, yeah.
No,
Um,
it's true, Taru. I went through the same thing last week again. एक cycle के बाद खत्म, and I was telling this to somebody else I was talking to. मैं उसको बोल रही थी कितने थप्पड़ खा के सीखोगे? And then after that my own cycle started. And even though मैं अपने आप को बोल रही थी कितने थप्पड़ खा के सीखोगे, but I felt like all these things, even like divine touch, spiritual, कुछ नहीं feel हो रहा था, just like pain. Till I got to the point, I woke up in the morning and I was so fed up. And like, how you said in the circle of harmony, just surrender. And I think I got disconnected when you shared that Raman Maharishi's quote. And I think there when I surrendered and I said, and in the circle of harmony, what you shared, even while you're doing that, say, कि मुझसे नहीं हो रहा. And the minute I did that, something within me shifted. But for good 4 5 days, I felt that pain. कि थप्पड़ पड़ भी रहे हैं, but and that's what even जो आज आपने share किया, कि वो grace, it feels like there's a wall that comes in between. So I think that is so real, and it happens again and again. So वो कब सर का भार बन जाता है पता भी नहीं चलता, and we still have to struggle with it. So yeah.
the strength of the words reminded me of a very famous Sri Aurobindo's quote as well. It says something like this, that I demand from you endurance, firmness, and I think heroism. And I want strong men and not emotional children. Like, I don't know the exact thing, but Sri Aurobindo, it's a very, I mean, I could really relate to it, that how, it's like, we always say that, that's it, right? Like, after all, I'm a human being, right? That is so natural for me to, kind of go through, follow where Prakriti is taking me, right? But I am not Prakriti, I am the Atma, right? And Atma doesn't have to be under the control of these natural things that, we use the word natural so loosely, but I can do more. Like, I'm built for more, and I am aspiring for that. And obviously, like, everything takes effort. This takes effort too, but at least this effort is taking me towards something, I don't know, I would say worth putting effort in, because the things that I put effort in are pretty sad, like are pretty trivial, are pretty, just working for brownie points or just temporary kind of gains and desires. So at least this is something I can take with me, beyond the body. So yeah.
No, you know what I found? Like I was using like sort of spiritual, divine, all this. I saw my own manipulation in it, in accepting the divine will. Even though like I'm okay with my own pain, I I felt like I could see my manipulation in the sense कि जैसे अब ये spiritualism आ गया तो ये सब ठीक हो जाए. Sort of I will feel okay. I don't know how to explain it. It's very silly. Like when I saw it, I saw my own manipulation. And I had to sit with it कि जैसे I was looking for that ground somehow फिर भी उसमें like कुछ hold करने की कोशिश कर रही थी वो reality को manipulating it in my I don't know how to explain it but like how you said pain भी दो तरह की होती है ऐसे एक तो pain होती है which can make you grow it's like a workout एक तो pain ऐसा workout कर सकते हो कि तुम्हारे हड्डियां you start you can hurt yourself to that point but there could be another kind of pain a workout where you actually strengthen yourself. So I think so that pain is more like the tapasya, where you're kind of how I think mother says purification, that sort of thing. So I think I don't know how to explain what my manipulation and pain, something shifted. But it didn't shift in so much in my words or in my mind or in my intellectual understanding. But something shifted when I said, what, I can do this. I sort of, I didn't even say it in the word, but it's something within me just surrendered, here, I don't know, take it. And it came naturally to that point because I was sick and tired of it. But then suddenly I saw how grace came to me, in the sense like, even you messaged me that day, like things how came, it's just, I was just touched by that itself was so healing in itself, it brought so much peace at that moment. So, and the things that, and then you feel foolish really, जैसे बार how you said, talking about mistakes, we make the same mistake again. And जब वो पूरे mistake the cycle, when it finishes, then you're like, oh, this again. So, so even the situation doesn't matter. It's like different situations, but the underlying my issue or mistake is still the same. So yeah. So I don't know if it's conscious or if it's in ignorance or if I could do better next time. But what the reading that we did today, I think I'll reflect on it again. And there's something I shared on the chat, that if you could search that. And I wanted to do that in collectively to get everybody's opinion.
Yeah, what is it like? Should I search for this on Incarnate World? This is from the mother.
Yeah, I searched it on Incarnate World.
Okay.
Actually, it's on
Yeah,
illness. I was going through. Then I kept reading Mother's Word to kind of grasp, and this really resonated with me. Yeah.
Okay. is
If you go down on it, on
okay.
this,
Yeah, here.
under 2nd February 19, yeah, you'll see your, sorry, I can't
Is
see
this
your
it?
screen.
Your illness was not a mere accident, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Please go ahead. Thank you.
So your illness was not a mere accident. You did not give sufficient attention to inner change, a psychological change with a broadening of your consciousness. You were satisfied with yourself. You were shut up in your small shell and did not try to make any progress. You said sadhana did not interest you, and you thought that the little work that you were doing was quite sufficient for you, and nothing more was needed. It was this attitude that took you out of my protection. I gave you warning, but you challenged nature by saying that nothing could touch you. All these things combined and brought your mental difficulties, weaknesses, and illness. You must change, you must try to fulfill the conditions of Maha Saraswati, make your work more perfect, make progress, try for a psychological transformation. Less than this will not help you. This is the minimum if you try sincerely, and my help will always be there. These days, my work is going on at such a speed that unless you make a serious effort, you will be left behind and not able to remain with me. But if you do so, do as I say, everything will be all right. And I'll read.
I can't hear you.
This is something that, yeah, sorry, I'll read some thing I don't know where it was, but it's,
Jasmine,
I think from
before you go further, do you want to just reflect on this? Like, what was it
yeah,
about this that, yes?
yeah, I'll tell you. 1 second. Let me just go to the other room. Sorry. Yeah, so a mixture of a lot of things that happened over the past week again. Um, so in my other than it's in my body and mind. I was feeling really tired. I had really good experiences, in the sense expensive experiences. Um, I had family over last week. We had a funeral of a grandmother. My husband's nanny passed away. But the whole experience was so beautiful. I don't know. My own, I would say last 2, 3 weeks, it felt like I could feel the shift within me, the way I looked at things. It was really beautiful, really nice. But somewhere between that and my interactions dealing with the family, not saying any issues there, but I said, I, and last weekend, I actually said, ऐसे लग रहा है कि I am 110-volt device and I've been plugged into a 220-volt something. Okay, it makes sense. So it felt like that. So it's like somewhere within me, I wanted to sit with myself. I needed a break with the whole thing going on with the social everything. Punjabiyon ki funeral bhi itni wo badi wo elaborate ho jati hai. So it wasn't, and I could feel that irritation. Not irritation, but I felt that need within me. But mujhe wo rest I wasn't getting. Eventually, what happened? I woke up on Monday and I was sick. I was really sick. Like I had some physical ailment. But then I know it wasn't a physical ailment as much, and I also knew it was something. But even with the resting, I don't know, it was the restlessness that I felt along with the ailment that I needed to sit with it and resolve. Like it wasn't just about medicine le lo and antibiotic le lo and theek ho jao. And it wasn't getting better. Within like normally within 2, 3 days I would feel better. It felt like it was something more. I don't know how else to say, but so I couldn't sit with that restlessness. It's like that by that time I felt exhausted physically and, in my body, even for my body to just rest and sit and meditate, I couldn't do it. So I think yesterday evening, then I just started looking for mothers. I went to Incarnate World and I kind of just started looking for, typed illness, health, and reading one thing after the other. I don't know, it really helped me kind of get the clarity, and it really resonated that, where I said the 110 device has been plugged into a 220 volts. I couldn't make sense of this whole experience. So and I've been experiencing that कि मुझे time, I don't know if it's happening with anybody else too, कि जैसे I need time to assimilate. I think somewhere in those mothers' writing, she had said that you need time to assimilate, to integrate it in your body. And I think that is a priority for me right now, because it's important to me. This is what's important to me. So, do I make sense now?
Amira, you want to share something?
Yeah. So this was exactly what happened to me last week when I fell sick. So I think the 1 or 2 weeks before that, there was just too much work, and like I knew something was not right inside. Like I wanted the time. I wanted to see what was happening because I was feeling very heavy, like feeling very restless. I knew something was going wrong, but I didn't get time to process it and to sort of understand what is it that is really causing this. And the evening that I was fell sick, so I just had a casual conversation with my senior. So he was saying, "Oh, nobody escapes Omicron." So in a normal case, I would never have reacted to that because I would have just brushed it away. But at that time, something in me was like, okay, you know what? Maybe this will give me rest, or maybe this will give me time. So it was sort of I'd already accepted that there's something that is going to come, and I think I ended up using that as an excuse to buy some time from myself so that I could see what was happening. So I think this stanza was exactly what happened.
Yeah, this is exactly what it felt for me too. I used it as an excuse, and I knew I was using it as an excuse, but but why do I need that excuse? Why do I need the physical ailment to address? Maybe there's something I need to understand. And I think that's where mother's words really helped me put that in perspective. So my question is, like, is it like I cannot do things, like I don't like that fast-paced life, and like I don't go. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't sync with me anymore. So I feel like I need to say, you know what, stop. I can only have so many things in a day, because somewhere I need that balance with my inner, that I need time for my inner self as well. Somebody has, gone through that, where, reduce the to-do list or the commitment, say no to that, Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe that's what my problem is, that I needed an illness as an excuse justified from others. You can rest and process your inner thing.
I guess also it was more like the loading and unloading wasn't happening at the same time. So you load the day and then you have to release it and move on to the next day. So everything was piling up inside, while on the outside it was all very normal. It was that was what made it, like, I think it was more of a restlessness and like anxious and all that. So yeah, the question that Jasmine asked was again something that I've been contemplating on also, as to what is it that is really that we need to do.
Read the lines, that's from Mother too. I just put it on my notes. But the truth is that it is the time needed for assimilation. A pause is made for the body to open itself more and become receptive and approach nearer to the level attained by the inner conscious. I copy pasted actually.
Is it here only on the same thing or somewhere else?
Yeah, I was searching and it came,
just give me one line, like 3-4 words from
here.
it.
I pasted it. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I put it in the chat. I feel in my inner journey, I need to kind of really sit with this, that I need to make conscious time for this. And then there was another line that came up to me in this
Yeah,
book,
Jasmine, just
Sunlit
read it
Path.
again. Just
Yeah.
just a little bit, a
Can you
little
read
bit.
it, Taru? Kabir is
Yeah,
making too many
yeah,
noise.
yeah, absolutely. But the truth is that it is the time needed for assimilation. A pause is made for the body to open itself more and become receptive and approach nearer to the level attained by the inner consciousness. The parents have been walking too far ahead. They must halt so that the child left behind may run up and catch them by the hand. Only then can they start again on the journey together. Yes, Jasmine. Jasmine, which is the next one you were saying?
No, I think this one itself, I haven't read the, I don't know, like, I think I feel personally this really resonated with me. That's something I need to understand there in a very intimate way in my body and mind, because I feel that what I said about the 110 volt and 220 volt thing, right? I'm very much there, and something I can't. Like it takes a toll on my body almost. But how she said, loading and unloading, maybe I don't do that. Something I need to shift in my daily life, I feel, even though I have that time. I don't know, or is it the amount of just how busy I was? But I feel I see more, the way I look at things, the way I process things. I don't know what it is.
Jasmine, you had asked a very important question while you were, reflecting on what you were sharing. You had asked this thing that why do I need physical illness to actually rest, right? Like,
Yeah.
what kind of a life I am living that to even take rest when I feel that my body or my mind needs it, I need to have a justification for
Yeah.
myself or for my family that see now I cannot walk anymore because see now look at the thermometer, now it's justified, right? This one thing. Secondly, you, I don't know if you know this, but you always are very concerned about, is it making sense, is it making sense, right? Like, what
Yeah. And
if I
it's
tell you it's not making any sense to anybody? What difference does it make, right? This is your truth. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody, and it would remain your truth, right?
But the problem is not the other people. The problem is me. Like I know it's mine, but मेरी
Yeah.
struggle. It's like मैं अपने, and it's not even anybody is there to. It's not about the outside. I know it's very much inner, and I'm talking in my inner turmoil somewhere. I need that clarity there. It's very much in me. I know it's all about me, and this. And I could see it, kind of brewing in me too. I could see that when it didn't get bad, I saw it brew and I let it brew. You know how you said the mistake, known mistake? I let it brew. Okay, it's just like almost manifested, and I could see that. But it's just like I had no sort of control over it, because so that's why I'm saying that I need to sit with this more, and I need to make that shift within me. And by my daily routine means like in my daily within me, not my daily routine. Outer it will come, but something within me, I feel like the way I look at it, that needs to be. Yeah, and then that's why I said like it's not outside. It's not about the people, because I've seen
No,
people shift
I
once
was
you.
just saying that whenever you are sharing something, I was just showing you, it doesn't mean anything. And everything that you share does make sense because we are all kind of, walking the same path. But I'm seeing this
Yeah.
need to feel that I should
Look.
be understood. I should make sense. Doesn't
Oh
need
yeah.
to be there. If you're
Hmm.
going through something, it makes sense. And if
Yeah.
if it's your issue, that is 100% justified. Nobody has to, kind of say,
Hmm.
yes, yes.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Yeah, I
one thing
see.
is this. And secondly, we
Yeah.
being us, We don't know what is right, what is wrong, what is good for me, what is bad for me. I mean, I remember several examples. Like the last one, I know that in one of the audios, again, Tenzin Palmo, she shared that when she was in retreats, she would share with her lama that this happened. And she said, I can say that almost every time when I thought something great happened, my lama just brushed it off. And some things which I would not even mention to him that, oh, this, I saw this, or this happened in this thing. He would say, oh my God, this happened. Good. Now you do that. So I'm saying that because the center from which I operate mostly is my ego, is my false self. So, like, when my servant is crazy and I'm asking that same crazy servant to decide what is right, what is wrong, it doesn't work that way. So maybe we need to judge less, try to make sense less. And what you said about taking time, Upanishads, they just talk about, these three words they say are essentially important, like Shravan, that is listening, Manan, that is this assimilation, that how is it making sense? How is it connecting the dot? Where am I? Where is he? That kind of a thing on a more interior level, like you were saying. And then Nidhyasan, that is how you will get into your life. So this Shravan, to everybody does, right? Like it's a easy thing, not everybody. Yet this Manan is, I feel, is the most important bridge between listening and then getting it into our lives. And I'm sure Captain would have a lot more to say on this. Captain, if you could please talk a bit on this for us to gain more clarity. Yeah, maybe he cannot talk right now, but yeah, I'm sure he'll share later. But Jasmine, what exactly was your question? I'm sorry.
No, Taru, you're making sense because I know there's something there and I feel within me, but I think you got it. And that's why I said I put it out there because it's like, you cannot find the solution with the same thinking sort of thing. So, like, I'll have to listen to this session again to sit and reflect what you said, that Manan. And I think I
Yeah,
really need to.
yeah, I just want to say that I think one really needs to be kind to oneself as well, and not, put oneself on the pedestal and just keep pointing fingers that, okay, this is it, that is also there. And yet one needs to know where, it's like how one treats a child. One needs to think about themselves as well. Like, look at the question that you asked, that do you think I should decrease my duties because I don't, I'm not able to do this one thing after the other thing. So imagine, your 5-year-old Kabir ask you this, ki, Mama, I feel I have too much on my plate, say in school. What do I do? Will you even hesitate a second before saying that? Of course, get down to 50% if you need to, but be happy, right?
Yeah,
Enjoy what you're doing. There is no race. Although we are made to feel there is, but the more we open our eyes and really see through grace, because without grace we can't see, that's for sure. There is no race. No matter what I do, my end is in the grave. My end, my niyati is that, this body, of course, will be, dust. So what am all these things, like 100 things if you're doing in a day, 95 would actually be for no use. And yet, because they are in my schedule, I'm doing them. So absolutely trim down your day. I mean, but just don't put, judge so much. Like, it's all right. Like, have some love for yourself, have some compassion towards yourself. This is also hard, what, we are doing, fight. It's like, on this path, we have to fight nobody other than ourselves, right? I am standing in front of me fighting myself, and that's hard. So if we are not kind, I think the battle can get pretty messy. Yes, you had unmuted. Yes, please say what you were saying.
no, it's true. It feels like a battle inside. And I think inside, I felt like that battle inside very much saw there. And I think, somewhere that faith or grace, I think a lot of it is past conditioning, you can say, or past habits. And I see like different shades of that too, judgment by others. Like when you were the voice is very small compared to before, but I see now how when you were saying that I could see how I was battling inside, but at the same time there are these voices, different voices, judgment, and then also like that blocks, how you said it blocks as if it blocks grace from helping me out, and eventually, and I feel that pain both, like I'm struggling and I'm all alone in it. That's what it feels like, and even then, I think somewhere, I think until I got through these sessions, because all my life, religion itself has been so, the not fundamental side, but the religion has been so outward that I sort of somewhere within me, I also have that resistance towards like, I tend to, it's like almost I stopped relating to that divine, or you can say universal energy, whatever, but it's like I had put a conscious block towards it. I think that made me suffer sort of in another way, not opening up, that closed me in another way. And I don't know, it's just like in my internal battle, wo khichdi si ban jati hai other things, but that clarity comes when or I think I threw my khichdi out at you guys to sort out. But yeah, I've never done that. It's truly a blessing, like, to kind of do it together in a group. So thank you. I think I feel better already, like, much more clear, and I just to sit with it.
Yeah, so what you shared regarding judging less, I think that is something that it just happens very unconsciously inside. And when you say it, it makes us think that, yeah, why is it that I constantly feel the need to justify to my own self why I'm not doing something? So even if nobody around is questioning, so there are these series of arguments to say that, oh, you know what, no, today my energy levels are low, so I will not do it. So somehow I feel any which ways I would not have done it. So even if I had not have justified, I would have not done it. But it just feels I don't know, like that the need to convince myself or whatever oneself that because of this that I didn't do it. So yeah, I think that what you said is really something that we have to think through and consciously sort of reject it.
There's a quote that says that, be kind to everyone, right? And remember that you too are someone, right? Like, I think somewhere, it's like the way we have been raised, we have been asked to be very critical of ourselves, right? Because it's said that unless I'm critical, I will not progress. And I would say that's not true, right? It's rather the opposite. The things that I might progress with by being critical are not really something progressing towards. Like, at least, I don't know, this is my take on it. Like, one doesn't have to agree to that, but I don't know, if I'm not even kind to myself, I don't know what life, and I know it's tough, and it's like, I know, I just want to share something again very personal. After my NDE, I suddenly had a outpour of self-love, that no matter what I did, that Kareena Kapoor ki movie ke main apni favorite hu. There was this Jab We Met, that it's like, I take everything for granted. I am this body, everything, this mind, this brain, this heart, I take for granted. But when I saw myself looking at my body, I was grateful for that body and that mind, and that, whatever will I have, even if I feel it's like terrible, I still am so grateful that at least I have that much, right? Like earlier, if say I would wanted to get up and I couldn't get up early, I would say, oh my God, what kind of a person you are? Why can't you? And now I'm like, okay, today again, I didn't get up early. Oh, that's so funny. It's like that. Try to make me not like myself, try. So, but I'm not saying that about the false self, like the real things that help me stand. Like it's like, I'm standing with the sword and trying to, if kuch koi bol ke dikhai types, which I had to tone down. And thankfully in about 2 years, I have done it quite a bit. But just that if I feel that everybody deserves the best, which I feel, right? Everybody deserves the best. So I deserve the best too. I am, it's like, it's so weird that I'm willing to fight the world for my opinions and my judgments and all. And yet, when it comes to self-love, I'm very critical, right? We are very contradictory, right? Like, it's like we have to, I'm going to pick one side. If we pick one side, we can progress more. But this thing that we do, this back and forth, I remember somebody, said that if you have to hate, hate like Ravan hated, say, Rama, because then Rama would come and, he came and he liberated Ravan. But our everything is so kind of, I don't know, suffocated and so well balanced that I have to take care of 10 things and do everything fully. Even if you do one thing, able to do it fully, you will reach somewhere. So just like I don't know, say this enough that this kindness to oneself or this self-love, that yes, if I want for my child, if I want the softest pajamas, because, so that he can sleep nicely, when I go to get my pajamas, I want them to be soft too now, because I too deserve my love. I cannot take myself for granted. It's for a short time. I don't know when the body will drop again. And I want to love it. So, yeah, I know whenever you talk about this, Meera, I just get overboard. But this is something I feel very strongly about. And there's something in me which tells me, oh, come on, that's not how it happens, right? But I never let it stay for long, right? Like I just say, you don't know what you're talking about. I do. So yeah, so any effort you can put in this direction, I would say that is really in a good direction.
Thank you, Taru. Really good. I think I didn't see it that way, the self-love and the self-critical thing. Yeah. It's funny, how now looking back at the whole experience, I can see different aspects of, even this self-love and kindness. Yeah. I see when you first said I'm like critical to Teeny, I was feeling so good, but now I see it. Oh, well, another beautiful experience. So, thank you.
I do have something which would go very well with what we are discussing, but before I share that, I would ask if Till or Captain have anything to share with us today.
I'm listening.
Absolutely. Thank you, Till. Thank you. Yeah. So then I'll just share the screen and Till, could you read this for me? Would this be all right? Can you see?
Ask me.
Enough?
Did you mention my name?
Yeah. Would you? Is it okay if you read this?
If you make the thing a bit bigger.
Yeah. Is this better?
Yeah. Okay. Divine love is there always in all its intensity, a formidable power. But most people, 99%, do not feel anything at all. What they feel of it is exclusively in proportion to what they are, to their capacity of receiving. Imagine, for instance, that you are bathing in an atmosphere all vibrant with divine love. You are not at all aware of it. Sometimes, very rarely, for a few seconds, there is suddenly the feeling of something. Then you say, oh, divine love came to me. What a joke. It's just that you were simply, for some reason or other, a wee bit open, so you felt it. But it is there always, like the divine consciousness. It is the same thing, it is there all the time in its full intensity, but one is not even aware of it. Or else in this way, spasmodically, suddenly one is in a good state, so one feels something and says, oh, the divine consciousness, divine love have turned to me, have come to me. It's not at all like that. One has just a tiny little opening, very tiny, at times like a pinhead, and naturally that force rushes in, for it is like active atmosphere. As soon as there is a possibility of being received, it is received. But this is so for all divine things. They are there, only one does not receive them, for one is closed up, blocked. One is busy with other things most of the time. Most of the time, one is full of oneself. So as one is full of oneself, there's no place for anything else. One is very actively busy with other things. One is filled with things. There's no place for the divine. But he's there. I can continue. It's like all the wonders that are there around you. You do not see them. Do you see them? No. Sometimes one moment when you are just a tiny bit more receptive, or else when in sleep you are less exclusively busy with your small affairs, you have a gleam of something and see something. But usually, as soon as you are awake again, all this is obliterated. First, as you know, by the formidable ego, which is all full of itself, and the whole universe moves in accordance with this ego. You are at the center and the universe turns around you. If you look at yourself attentively, you will see it is like that. Your vision of the universe, that's you at the center and the universe all around. So there's no place for anything else. It's not the universe you see, it's yourself you see in the universe. That's a good point to stop. It's so true.
So just knowing that, how, mother says it, that it's you who turns away. And again, in this week's circle, we had discussed how, it's like when we say it's night time, we say it's night time because the sun is no longer there. But the sun is always there. It's the earth that turns away, right? So it's always I who turn away. And there's so much beauty in this because if it's the I who has turned away, it's the I who can turn back. So it's just remembering that all the time, that whenever we feel anything, it's like I have moved away, like the divine is always there. And instead of just all these, it's like we always want to use the mind to sort ourselves. And there's this very beautiful couplet that falsafi ke beech mein khuda milta nahi, डोर को सुलझा रहे हैं और सिरा मिलता नहीं. That in between the chaos and the confusions you will not find God, and you're trying to kind of sort the threads and you can't even see the end of it. So I think just knowing that the mind is limited, although it feels like, oh my God, my mind, my brain, I'm the sharpest, smartest, and I should be able to figure it out. But if I'm not able to figure it out, if I can just drop that unresolved mess and say, I don't even want to figure it out. How again they give the example of, usually I love this example of a river, which it wants to merge with the ocean. And if there is a cliff or a mountain or anything in, on its way, it doesn't stop and say that first, let me try to figure you out. You have to give me the way and I'll go only straight because that is moral. No, side, under, over, anywhere. It doesn't care about the hurdles, anything. It just knows that I have to merge with the ocean, and anyway is fine. So just that, and yeah.
Also noticed that if in feeling the incapacity of merging into the ocean, there's it can be a very small one, but enough to block the course of the river. It's a kind of fear, and then you withhold yourself and you feel life, as it were, flushing before you and you not being part of it. And even that is the rope of the ego. I had, it can be 30 years ago that I had this boring feeling of it's only in the center, it's always the same circle, boring, just boring.
It appears like the sun is already there, but say like night time we are not in a position to see the sun this side. So I cannot argue with somebody by saying that the sun is lost, sun is not there. So similarly, suppose in the Western countries now it is the daytime, so they will be able to see the sun. So sun is always there. The only thing I have to connect myself with the sun, thinking that yes, it is already there, but due to some reason, my location in the particular place in the earth, I'm not in a position to see this. So similarly, the divine grace or divinity is already there, 7 into 24, but we have to get connected. Like here, I've got two choices. One is mute, you can unmute, and on start video. So once I want that video should be on, so I have to switch it on. So we are so busy in our day-to-day life, then we forget about the divine. So we are not in touch probably at that time with the divine grace or divinity. Thank you.
Yes, Captain. Thank you. So I think we can end the circle today. Lot to absorb and lot to reflect on. So thank you so much for joining in and hope you have a good weekend. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Taru.
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye.